Whoa, are we live already? Okay, cool. So, gang, what I'm talking about today, I'm talking about pages 722 and 723. And we're talking about what's going on in World War One. We kind of got an idea of how World War One started. We know that the United States isn't involved in it yet, but they're going to be, and that's going to be important. But what is this all about? What is this all about? Well, this is all about how warfare was different during World War One than it ever had been before. And that, my friends, will be the subject of our conversation today. I'll try to make this more succinct, brief, because I know yesterday's video was a bit long. So we know that, what's going on is, these different nations allied with one another are all in the midst of combat, and we see how things are very different. So why are they different combat-wise? Well, we talked about militarization yesterday, which means like building up your military, collecting arms, and that's obviously a consequence of the second industrial revolution. You wouldn't be able to manufacture such incredible weapons and tanks and devices and airplanes and all this kind of stuff unless you had perfected how to work with steel, as we talked with, and how to make things on a very large scale, in a very large scale way, aka the assembly lines, factories, that kind of stuff that emerges around the turn of the century. So that's something that contributes to the new kind of war. You're seeing people with tanks, with machine guns, your planes, and all kinds of stuff that was never before seen. I mean, think about the last major war, like major war that America had seen. That would have been like the Civil War. I mean, of course, you have other conflicts. Obviously, we were involved in the Spanish-American War, etc. But major, large scale, lots and lots of lives lost. The last one would have been for America would have been the Civil War, where you have people with muskets, you have people with with swords. You know what I mean? Literally, swords and tomahawks and stuff like that. I mean, it's just a world of difference. Oh my goodness, what a massive difference that 50 years can make. It makes you think, wow, things are developing incredibly quickly. It's unbelievable. We talk about one of the things they mentioned here is trench warfare. So trench warfare is something that the textbook defines it as defending a position by fighting from the protection of deep ditches dug in the ground, obviously. And you would see how this could really think about what kind of, if you're sitting in a trench and you're stationed there for an extended period of time and it's raining and you don't have good rations, etc., you could see how that could be very devastating and dangerous to people. We see that depicted here, the trench warfare. But I mean, clearly, this is cartoonish, but imagine what this would have looked like. Imagine what that would have looked like in real life. Very grim. Imagine, people, it's wet, it's muddy, it's completely disgusting, etc. It's crazy to think, oh, look at these planes here, man. That's excellent. Like kind of like the Red Baron-esque plane, the bi-wing planes. The American version of that, I believe, was called a Sopwith Camel airplane. That's something totally new. We've never seen that in warfare at all. Gosh, unbelievable. I'll leave you with one little anecdote to try to help you picture how intense this war was and how aggressive it was. We all know that one of my favorite authors is J.R.R. Tolkien, right? He was the author of The Hobbit and the author of Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, and it's crazy to think about this. J.R. Tolkien, if you guys have seen this, you're going to understand it better. If you haven't, I'm sorry. Maybe look up a picture of what orcs in Lord of the Rings look like, or look up a picture of what the Uruk-hai look like in Lord of the Rings. They're incredibly terrifying. And J.R.R. Tolkien actually served in World War One, and he actually he was inspired. It was so incredibly scary what he saw, that trench warfare, people dying in mud, people, getting incredibly sick from the conditions there, people getting poisoned. I mean, it's people getting bombed, fire, flame. I mean, it was so devastating what he saw that he actually based what the Uruk-hai and the orcs, the way that they interacted, he was inspired by his time in World War One to make them the way they were. You think about the Uruk-hai, the creepy, they're always like underground in the dirt and the mud and some fire and flame. It's like that's like medieval militarization. It's medieval World War One. It's shocking. I hope that kind of helps you guys think through this. This basically 722 and 723 is giving you an idea of what combat looked like. I think that yesterday's reading was probably a bit more important, understanding why World War One started and the geography behind it. But surely this is it's fascinating, and it really makes you think about how devastating warfare is, and the preciousness of human life, and how things had changed so dramatically quickly. It makes you think, gosh, what will things look like in 60 years from now? Who knows? We can only speculate. All right. You guys have a lovely day. Very proud of you guys as always. Keep up the good work, man.